Live, checking things. Are we live? And we are now live. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Jam Championship Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Extremes YouTube channels, as well as the Slam Jam channel and a bunch of other places, I'm sure. On the show tonight, we're going to be discussing how things are looking in the world of professional wrestling as we head towards Elimination Chamber, how things are going in the world of AEW and TNA and some other stuff, I am sure. Dave, say hello to the people.
Hello, people. It's been it feels like ages since we last did a show, considering the last one we did was before the Royal Rumble. Now feels absolutely ages ago.
Wait, we haven't done a show since the Royal Rumble.
It's before the Royal Rumble, and in that time, Tommaso Ciampa has debuted for AEW, won the TNT title, and lost the TNT title. That which is a weird stat, but it is. It's true.
Do you know, the interesting thing with that, because I haven't seen tons of I was about to say TNA, tons of AEW, but I have seen clips, and I saw that Ciampa debuted. I was like, he's now going to have a championship match, which he kind of can't lose. But obviously they didn't. They put themselves into that situation just so he could have that match. But obviously they didn't see it as a long-term thing. But hey, he's turned up. He's already been a singles champion in the company. It's not a bad start.
Yeah, I think it's something that they've established it's established the title a little bit. It's an established star came in wanting that title and accepting an open challenge situation, then doing the same thing in respect for it, and then losing to one of AEW's sort of built up guys that they've been making over the last year and a half or so. So I think a lot of people will be like, oh, they're burying him, or they're burying the division, or what have you. Nothing like that. I
don't think giving someone a title in their debut match is burying them. So
they're not burying them, but you might think it's burying the company by having a WWE guy coming in immediately.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But then almost immediately losing it to one of their built-up stars, I think it's probably a good sign. And plus, all the matches he's had so far on that show have been really good. So especially the one with Fletcher just a few days ago, it was a very, very good match. So I was a little hesitant about them signing him so quickly after he'd gone from WWE, but so far so good. I'm happy.
So do we know anything? What was the deal with why he was leaving? Like, I'm sure WWE probably offered him something. Is this just a case of, well, I'm kind of stuck as a mid-card tag team guy, and in NXT I was the guy for a while, sort of thing?
I think it's probably that thing of what's for it. With Ciampa and my, I'm not going to say like I got to know him or anything like that, but I've chatted to him a few times at different events where he was over here, and he's always been. It was like a very sort of focused sort of person, and I got the impression he was sort of the sort of person that wanted to wrestle for the best companies and the biggest opportunities he could get for himself and for being able to do the sort of wrestling he enjoyed and liked. I think from his statement, I think he made a little while ago, where he was talking about NXT and the black and gold brand and that sort of time. I think maybe he was just looking for that sort of passion again, because I think he really thrived and really obviously loved that period of his career, and maybe just didn't see it in AEW. So I think his thing was he was in 10 years in the Indies, been WWE for 10 years. He's got another 10 years left. So let's just roll through whatever's out there. And obviously AEW was.
Good luck to him, because it's one of the interesting things with the whole dynamic of, if he was, when he was in like you say, like the black and gold, that era of NXT, it feels like, but that was when Triple H ran it. And now Triple H is running the main show, and his guys aren't his guys anymore. His NXT guys have been pretty meaningless, you know. And does that show that Triple H just was like, I'm using you guys because I don't have the main roster guys who I'd rather have? Or, is there some change that it always seems the case that when people suddenly get in charge of companies, bookers and stuff like this, you hear that, Tony Khan's like, I'm not going to be on-screen character. You'll never see me on the screen. And obviously, he didn't stick to that. Dixie Carter straight away put herself into storylines and stuff. Jarrett did. Triple H, always is like at the forefront of stuff. Is it just simply a power thing where people cannot help it? But once they get there, it turns you like the One Ring sort of thing.
I just remember that time. I think I mentioned it on the show, but it was a long while ago when they did, because obviously Triple H went through that whole thing of bringing back a bunch of people that had been released or were sort of AWOL for a little while, and bringing back the guys that he'd pushed. And there was that whole thing of bringing back DIY, wasn't it? That Joey Gargano had been MIA for a while, and Ciampa was looking for him and all that sort of stuff. And then he came out at the end of it was like a main event Raw angle when Johnny Gargano returned to save Ciampa, and they did the DIY reunion on that bit. I think I said on the time that they'd run that angle. It was a few weeks later, and it's on the show. By the way, where are DIY? They did a main event angle with them, and there's been no sign of them since in any sort of established sort of way, and it was just very unusual. So it's just inconsistencies, I think, and I don't know what you would do if you're in the situation that he's in, but I think we've said it on the show before. Triple H seems to have just gone the direction, as you say, that all powerful One Ring to rule them all sort of situation, and he now thinks he is the legitimate biggest star on there. He's featured in the WrestleMania programs. He's on the cover of the 2K game with his airbrushed pecs and his.
That's so funny.
He's got to be there at every press conference and trying to engage with the people in the background chanting for Y2J, and Saudi Arabian fans chanting "We want Vince," or he's trying to ignore it all in the background. So just get yourself off television, mate, and just concentrate on the content. You are not the content. All right, Trips?
Do you know, it's interesting. I'm trying to remember. It was from some podcast thing where it was either one of the Conrad podcasts or a Cornette podcast or something like this a few years ago. And they were saying about it in regards to Tony Khan, saying that, before you run a wrestling promotion and become the booker, you have all these ideas of the things you want to do. And you've probably got a year's worth of things that you can play out. And then once they start to play out, you run out, and then you can't come up with enough quickly enough. And I think Triple H last year, early last year, reached that point where his good era was now just week to week. Well, what's next? Well, what can we do this week?
Bloodline, more bloodline,
more bloodline, a new bloodline. Let's have 3 bloodlines. But well, interesting. Have you seen Raw this week?
I don't really watch any of the show. I've watched Dynamite this week. That's a bit about it.
Okay. Well, I've seen Raw. You've seen Dynamite. Between us, we haven't watched TNA, so that's something, right? But that's is TNA that was on last night, wasn't it? It's the Thursday night show, isn't it? But yeah. So on Raw, they've got the Usos against Tozawa and that, and afterwards they were like, "So what's next for the Usos as we head to WrestleMania?"
I'll tell you what's next for the Usos: super kick, point target for training. Is what you want to do on that one. I saw that missed kick.
Oh, okay. Do you know what? I didn't even see that in what I was
trying to super kick Otis as he was doing the caterpillar.
I missed.
Yeah.
Okay, but they were like, but Jimmy was like, yeah, what's going to happen is Jay is going to get into that elimination chamber and once again be main event. I'm like, Jimmy, don't you have any aspirations for yourself? Like, they need to stop just force feeding us Jey Uso.
They need to stop making Jimmy Uso be a little,
cheerleader.
Like I say, have a bit of. Oh no, you know what's going to happen?
Don't tell me.
They're going to put them two in a qualifying match, aren't they?
What, at the same time?
Yeah, they'll be in one of the triple threats.
Okay. Would the interesting thing just be that Jimmy just lays down for him and gives him the pin?
No, I think the interesting thing would be Jimmy stealing the pin on whoever they're in against. Triple threat. Sorry, book it, Adam Pearce. Yeah, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and insert name of random heel here. And then, Jay gets the big splash, but Jimmy gets the pin.
Okay, yeah, that would be good. But okay, so just thinking about what I said, Dave. No, but in wrestling, obviously for obvious reasons, I think they've always stayed away from. Say that was the match, and it was a multi-man match, like 4-way or whatever. Jimmy and Jay are in it, and there's like the promos before. It's a little bit of a tease of, well, it's every man for himself in there. And I remember a few months ago in a Battle Royal Rumble or whatever, you know, you saw me eliminated or didn't save me. And then as soon as the match starts, you know, one Uso throws out one opponent, one Uso throws out the other. They come face to face. Jimmy just lays down. Jay covers him. You see the other guys scrambling, 1, 2. They get the 3, celebrate together. And then imagine if they then had the awkward, uncomfortable reality of a storyline in wrestling about match fixing. Because have they ever? Can you actually think of anything where someone's in pro wrestling where they've done something about like you threw that fight or match fixing, or is it just that it's been like let's just not go there?
Well, there's a whole story about politics in real life situations in wrestling. I'm not sure people are ready for that.
Yeah. Gosh. Right. Well, anyway, what happened on Dynamite that of note this week? Obviously, was it just 2 days ago then that there was this title change? TNT?
Yeah, no, last, I think. Yeah, Well, I mean, we're going to talk about this week's Dynamite. Let's talk about last week's Dynamite as well, because we need to talk about that, not to talk about something that's happened this week. Because one of the big stories coming out of Dynamite is that there's been some sort of block on TBS on Brody King. Being featured on the show. So it's him and MJF at Grand Slam Australia on Saturday for the world title because of Brody winning the Eliminator match on the week before's Dynamite main event in a matter of seconds, like 30-second match. It was MJF.
Actually, I did see that.
Yeah, it didn't take long to watch it. But yeah, what a great fucking moment that was. But of course, the big story coming out of that, though, is when about to start the match, and because Brody has been very staunchly anti-ice on his socials and things like that, that has then translated into a lot of support or against whatever side of the fence you're on.
Sure,
I think we all know which side of the fence you probably should be on, but I won't say anything just in case we get banned on here.
Exactly.
But so the fuck ice chance getting a bit of moment on the TV. Bryce Remsburg sort of pausing before signaling for the bell to ring so he could let the chance to breathe for a little bit. MJF going.
Well, see that I did see that, and see that's the thing. It's like if you do any acknowledgement, like even with your eyes looking around, then the fans will leap onto it even more.
Yeah. But that seems to have translated into them. Warner Brothers sort of not wanting Brody involved because they're doing this whole thing of them potentially uploading all the stuff to Netflix and this whole thing on there. So not wanting to upset Trump.
I worry that this could snowball for him. They should have used him in a backstage segment or something if they just wanted to let that die down. But now obviously it's become a story. And because look, if you remember years back, the Muhammad Hassan storyline in WWE became linked to not political, but it became linked to world events, I guess. It became that we won't have him on the television show when he was about to probably win a world title. Yeah, and now he's a school teacher or something.
Yeah, but if you remember, that was very unfortunate timing and really not forward thinking on the day, because that whole thing, that angle played out on SmackDown on the day of the July 7th bombings. So that was unfortunate timing for that. I mean, it was a fucking pre-recorded show. They should have pulled that segment. I mean, I think everyone.
Well, exactly. And then if the networks lay down something, it can be difficult to recover from.
Yeah.
So I rather than this, because they must have the awareness that these things will become a deal on the internet. Do something backstage where you can control the audio. Then just have them have a brawl out in front of the audience where the audience won't be thinking of chants and stuff like this. Just manipulate your audience so that it doesn't get you into trouble and stuff like this. So then
it's gonna be interesting to see what they do because it's obviously going to be live from Australia on Saturday. Well, maybe I don't know if it's going to be live. Maybe
is it Grand Slam or something like this?
Grand Slam Australia.
Wow. Okay. And is that a pay-per-view or is it just a special?
It's a special on TNT. So it'll be on broadcast TV. But I don't know if it's going to be live, so that probably won't be. It'll probably be live on maybe on Fight or on on Fight Triller. It's been Triller for ages, or Amazon or whatever they're broadcasting it on. I don't know, but that's to not upset the TV channels. The fact that it's pre-recorded probably means they can get a little degree of editing in there if the crowd does start up, which they probably will.
Yeah.
The Australian fans are quite rowdy themselves, as are most wrestling fans around the world, and they probably will pick up on this and really go for it and try and go for it with the chanting. But it's this whole thing though. It's what do you do? Are you, if you're a this TV channel, do you allow? I mean, AEW, I think, are the sort of company that would want a bit of freedom of expression and that sort of thing, but is it the place to do that on a wrestling show? I mean, they had the whole thing that was the whole debate when Bad Bunny did the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Was there going to be a political statement on this sort of situation?
Gosh,
and he didn't do anything.
I don't know anything about that. So
he had previously said something during his Grammy speech about the whole ICE situation and everything, but he didn't do anything in the Super Bowl. The only thing he did anything, and I managed to actually watch it today. It was actually a really good show, but the only thing they did do towards the end was he was just naming every country that was part of America, not just the United States of America, but in entirety of America, including obviously the Spanish-speaking ones, also at the end, Puerto Rico. But they had this sort of, the only thing that even vaguely would be sort of considered a statement was on the screen at the back saying the only thing more powerful than hate is love. I think that's what it was. Just
that seems a pretty innocuous comment.
Yeah, it's not an innocuous statement, but I think you can make connotations, you can make connections to obviously the mood of the country and the mood of the world in that sort of thing, which is it's a nice statement to make, and he didn't do anything terrible that way. So it's the sort of, I don't know if you go that sort of ground with it. Obviously, because it's so specifically about ICE and about that whole situation over there, that it's difficult to sort of play on with Brody. I mean, obviously Brody's not wearing his Abolish ICE t-shirt on TV. He knows not to do that. He's doing it on indie shows and things. But yeah, it's a shame. It's such a minefield. It's a shame.
Yeah. The world is a ridiculous place nowadays, and even even just like, well, do you know what the funny thing? Just before we went live, and again, I'll be careful how I reference this. I mentioned about the Extreme Improv show last night, and I was like, loads of things ended up coming up where I was like, oh, this is the kind of thing which I go out of my way not to get not a copyright strike. What would it be? Just a terms of service. Because you can never tell with social media platforms or stuff like this in general. So, well, anyway, I guess that means he's not winning the world title. But I did find the breakdown of this. If this is this Saturday, how about that?
Yeah,
what time? Do you know what time will this be on? We won't get it live anywhere, will we? In the UK.
I think if you're on Triller TV or
okay,
we will do. But no, I don't know exactly. But it's good. It's a good looking card, isn't it?
It's a good looking poster. I was going to say, it's definitely catching my attention there. So Briscoe, Fletcher.
Ignore SpongeBob's opinion on the right there, but
lame. This is one of the annoying things. If I try to make this smaller, I'm sure the comments will come with it. You can't get rid of the comments. Yeah. I always forget to check those because there's something else that can be dodgy as anything. But yeah, so when is Revolution then? Hangman and Andrade?
I don't know. It's I think either end of this month or start of March.
Okay, what belt is that Adam Page is holding? What champion is he right now?
Trios. He's one of the trios champions with Jet Speed.
Yeah. I hope Andrade wins just for variety's sake.
Variety's sake, him and MJF at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, well,
Draw on a bit of personal history there. They apparently had a bit backstage scuffle when Andrade was previously part of AEW.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that was in that amazing period of time where and Guevara was getting into fights with people, and obviously the Punk one. Yeah, the Wild West days. Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome. Anything else notable out of AEW in the last couple of weeks?
I think I mentioned about the TNT title situation, which they've now segued into, or parlayed, sorry, into Briscoe Fletcher 7. So it'll be the last match of them, which they're going to do as a ladder match, which is probably fitting sort of inclusion to their rivalry. Which has been,
this is their 7th match back and forth.
Singles match as part of.
Was it a best of 7, or was it?
It wasn't originally. It's just ended up being that way. It's just ended up they realized they had quite a few matches. You know, some of them. I think one was for Ring of Honor World Title when Briscoe was champion. One was part of the Continental Classic, and other ones have been just like either random matches or just ended up being that they found themselves in a situation where they got to like match 4 and they were like, hold on, they've got some good chemistry here. They've got some good story. We can make a story out of this and sort of build it as a good rivalry. And they are now 3 apiece, so it makes sense to do the sort of this is literally the rubber match. With this one, yeah, a good card. The I don't know if you can see it on there. The mixed tornado tag is loser of the 4 has their head shaved.
Well, that's going to be. I
mean, if Tony Storm takes the fall, that's going to be mad.
That would be.
She could
embrace it, but she could also make a huge thing out of different wigs each week. She could go full Lex Luthor with it.
She could do, but Bartman really just wants to see Willie Uta just completely shaved, not just his hair, but his beard as well, and just to see what he looks like completely underneath that.
I think it will be Uta that gets this. Like, he's got the ridiculous hair, so it's not like this look is just—it's not a look so much as it's just lack of grooming. It's just that it's grown out, so it would make sense for it to be him. I think it would be really funny if, like, afterwards he's lost and Cassidy and Storm, like, they grab him and they literally just shave his beard and that's it. And
or just like, Claudio, Mark, Garcia, and whoever else they could just all take a chunk of it in their hand. Just go.
Yeah. Oh my god. They should have like Dax in there, and if he loses, he has to have his back shaved on TV. If we remember that angle. Okay, I'm trying to think what else. Like Raw this week, Punk and Balor is still going to be a thing, and literally they've got Adam Pearce saying, you know, I don't get where Balor is meant to be because he comes across like a face compared to Adam Pearce, where he's like, oh, you know, I'm demanding, why are you being so unfair to me, keeping me out of the Rumble, keeping me away from having a rematch with Punk. And then Punk comes down and says, yeah, let's do this match kind of thing. But Pearce is literally saying that, you know, the WrestleMania main event is CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And it's like, well, it doesn't have to be. You've got enough time to have multiple title changes. Yep. You know, if this was a legitimate sport, there's no reason why there couldn't be.
It's what bugged me for absolute ages. For the last number of years, it was established way back in the day that a champion had to defend their title every 30 days.
Yes.
And for some reason, they just stopped doing that in the 21st century and then 2010s and things like that. So Roman Reigns just got away with doing it whenever he wanted. But Lesnar, I think, did the same sort of things. It's kept the title for like certain.
I think
things.
It started with Brock, didn't it? Because he was as part-time as he was, and then. You know, other people were like, wait, you can be in the main event and then you show up less, and it is this weird thing. It's kind of gone harken back to the idea of Andre the Giant, with that old idea of, you know, they used him too much and they suddenly realized that the once a year that Andre comes to your town is then a guaranteed sellout, and by just taking him to different places infrequently would always guarantee a sellout. But if you put him out there too much, he's no longer a spectacle.
Yeah, the same with anybody really, I suppose. But that was the that was the thing that made event when Brock was there. You know, that's why everyone sort of popped for him. When the music hit and things, but but it does annoys me that this whole idea that Adam Pearce is like, no, we've got to protect the main event and all that sort of stuff, and Punk is like a fighting champion. The whole point of him doing this is that he is a fighting champion. He wants to defend. And it's like, are they trying to cast now Adam Pearce as being a heel manager because now he's suddenly sort of like he's not having security running whenever the Vision are doing like they're ganging up on people sort of thing, and whether it's been, I don't know whether it's the idea that he's been threatened with legal action or something by Heyman, etc., that sort of thing. But not that the Vision can do much at the moment because Braun Breaker like got a hernia.
Oh, it's legitimately injured. Is what they said, and I didn't hear that elsewhere outside of what they said on Raw. But apparently, he's legitimately injured.
Yeah, he got out. Yeah, hernia operation.
Wow. Because there was that thing about a week ago saying, I wonder when the injury was then, because if it was genuinely a week ago, because when you think about it, there was stuff about a week ago saying he was going to win the Royal Rumble. And if he was already injured or had a nagging injury that then got worse, that makes sense for putting him in at number 2. He's in there for a couple of seconds. And then now that he's written out. So that's unfortunate. Like, I didn't think I felt like, strangely enough, like a couple of years ago, I said, oh my God, they need to get this guy winning the Rumble, going to Mania, push him to the moon. But when they got rid of Seth and suddenly it was like, oh, Braun Breaker here, I was like, you don't quite feel ready for this. Yeah, I never felt quite convinced that he was, like, with Seth gone, that he was suddenly just stepping out of the tag team with Reed, and suddenly it's just like now he's the big dog of the Vision. I was like, you know, and people saying about some of his promos, but I wasn't quite buying it, you know. So hopefully when he comes back, that will be a launching pad for him, so he doesn't just, because the Vision isn't working for me, generally speaking.
Is there anyone that this they're doing the Masked Man thing again, where it's been reversed now that this person's attacking the Vision? Is it going to end up being Rollins, do we think, or is it going to be obviously it isn't Rollins, we know it isn't because he's just had surgery and all that sort of stuff. He's back, and they even acknowledged it in that weird little video. You know, that video they had a compilation of people being driven back backstage after their Rumble eliminations. They even acknowledged it on there.
Yeah. Okay, well, who is it then? Because
I don't know.
This just feels like the AEW demon thing, the devil.
Yeah.
You know,
well, people think it is Balor, don't they? As you guys on the chat we're thinking it was Balor from one of the screenshots, but certainly someone with a beard.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. It's who do you who would have that connection with them? And I'm trying to think of people they have beaten down and things like that. I think apart from Rollins, everyone has sort of either returned or just gone on to other things. You know, like, obviously Iron Wright returned.
Well, who else is even in the thinking of who it could be?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. I can't think.
I can't think of anyone storyline wise that's been in anything with any of them, especially to be doing stomps.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a strange one. Could end up being I don't know, someone. Just trying to think of a really unusually big guy to do it.
What, like it's Otis, you know?
Yes, or Omos. Omos.
Omos. Yeah.
Coming in mask. Who is this guy?
So because you can see the mouth, and it's a white guy, is what we know. A white guy and a bit of beard. If it was like if we were back in the Thunderdome era, they could do this. Where it would just be like one of these bad movies with the stunt double, where you like see this guy, he hits the stomp, goes like this, it cuts in for the well, basically, have you seen the Naked Gun movie where Liam Neeson is a little girl?
Yes.
So he's just like the little girl walks in, goes like that, and it's suddenly Liam Neeson, and it goes like this, and it says if it's Omos, it's just like this, and suddenly towering, or if it's Otis, he goes like this, and it just cuts to the stomach, and then just like the belly just like drops out. So
yeah, no, I have no idea.
Okay, so when is Elimination Chamber and when is Revolution? What is coming up next? Elimination Chamber is until the end of the month, is it?
I never know when any of these shows are anymore. It's just to be so easy to remember, but not a clue. I haven't a clue.
Elimination Chamber, I think, is the end of the month. I think because we've only got a few people who are like confirmed for it. So yeah, we've got Orton and LA Knight so far versus 4 to be determined. And probably it'll feature Uso, unless something's going to go wrong there. But then,
yeah, Jay is going to be Rhodes, Fatu, probably, and I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Random person can do spots.
Let's have a look here.
Isn't it going to be? Isn't it a triple threat that this on Raw going to be like Javon Evans, Gunter, and someone else?
Yeah, that does ring a bell actually. And what? Okay, what? Let's have a look. See who's in it for SmackDown tonight. So tonight is Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Sami Zayn, which is interesting because any of them could be in it. But it feels like if Rhodes somehow loses, what does he do at Mania?
Was it at Mania or was it at Chamber? Yeah,
well, but what does he do at Mania? Like, I think Rhodes has to be in this, and I think Rhodes probably has to win it because otherwise, what do you do with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania? Not that he has the main event every year, but
Cody and Drew again. I don't know. It's just a bit boring, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's who do you go to otherwise?
Yeah, well, we're going with Cody, Drew, and Fatu as a triple threat, but I don't know if that's all the sort of what they've been going for.
They can find a way to get to that. How many times at WrestleMania has there been matches that are obvious one-on-one matches, and it's just they have to end up making it a three-way for some reason? They did it with Daniel Bryan. They did it with Becky Lynch. I'm sure there's at least one other time where something that's just clearly by the rules of the game, it should be a one-on-one, but they have to cram someone else in there. So Edge won the Royal Rumble, and then was it Roman and Daniel Bryan? It suddenly as well.
Yes.
Yeah, they keep getting themselves in the situation where they pick the wrong winner of a qualifying match, and it's like, oh, we've got the wrong number one contender, but we really want this person in it.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just sort of just last minute sort of thoughts and booking, doesn't it? Just sort of if you've got your idea of what you're going to go for, it's just I guess in a way, I think I said this the other week. It's quite when we're talking about Rumble predictions. It's quite nice that we don't necessarily know everything right away, or it's not clear where it's going to go. It's quite you got one main event sorted, Roman Punk, which probably arguably should have been last year. Hey, there you go, obvious one-on-one match, but it made it a triple threat.
There you go. Yeah.
It wasn't for a title though, so it didn't matter. But it's so that would be, I think, you've got one main event you can focus on, and after a Chamber, obviously we'll have whatever the second is going to be. I'm not concerned, but I am wondering what Gunter's going to be doing, because if he wins this triple threat on Monday and goes into the Chamber, do you have him lose? It's like, do you have him lose in the Chamber match if he's on this streak?
Everyone gets eliminated in the Chamber, don't they? You don't. It's not just first fall, so he'd have to eat a loss.
If it's going to be Rhodes winning it, of course, yeah. But it's how do you get him to do that? Obviously, the other way is that he somehow ends up obviously not being in the deciding fall of the triple threat, and that ends up being whatever he ends up doing at Chamber or Mania, whatever that's going to be. I think someone said in the group chat the other day that it might be Ray.
So obviously the thing for a few years that's been spoken about is the idea that Gunther may end up against Brock, and now people are speculating that he might retire Brock.
That's happening this year, though. I've said that, but
I doubt that would happen because of Mania next year. I think Brock, isn't going to he works like 8 minutes a match 3 times a year. He may as well get $1 million for WrestleMania.
If they're going to do it this year, they'd have had some sort of teaser in the Rumble. They didn't.
True.
Did they?
Well, see, that's true, because I read something earlier today, which I was a bit surprised about, suggesting that it will be LA Knight and Brock at Mania. And when I read that, I was like, that's a pretty prominent match for LA Knight. If he even if he doesn't go over, but if he was to go over, yeah. But then obviously that would. The tease in the Rumble was Brock and Obafemi, perhaps, if they want to push him to the moon. That would be a good pairing there.
I mean, of the is brief sort of time in the Rumble, there was a lot of teasers for potential matches for Brock coming out. So you got Femi. I know a lot of people hated it, but I loved his interaction with Ilya Dragunov. Just the bit where Dragunov just chopping him as much as he possibly can. And he just goes, screams his face, just grabs him by the neck and throws him over. Which, I know a lot of people like this whole report about there was some eye rolls or something like that from fans' reactions to it, or something like that. And I don't know who was rolling their eyes, if it was the fans or the wrestlers and things like that. But if they really thought that Ilya was going to have more like a bigger shot in the Rumble against Brock in that sort of moment, come on, that wasn't going to happen. But what they did do in that like 10-15 seconds of interaction made me want to see that match, because you just know that Ilya Dragunov is just going to go absolutely hell for leather if he gets a chance to fight Brock Lesnar. He's just going to he'll do whatever he can to like make that match a big spectacle, and Brock, I'm sure, will be absolutely more than happy to beat the shit out of him as well. So that would be quite a match I would like to see. I don't think we'll see it, but it would be something.
I mean, I kind of like doubt it myself, just because it feels like they're not going to make that a pay-per-view match.
No,
that was probably that moment, in itself. And also the other thing with Brock against Gunther, I feel like whenever that match may happen, it's the main event. There's Goldberg was the main event. Styles wasn't the main event, like, to be fair, but it was at the Rumble. Cena was obviously was Cena the main event? Actually, now I say that.
Of what?
When he lost, was it the main event?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Right.
It was reported he wanted to go first, but
that was a report. But but then Styles wasn't. So I guess they could do that. But when if that match happens and it's the main event, then it's like, oh, okay, I guess he's retiring.
What did you make of the Rumble overall? Because obviously we haven't been on since the actual thing. I think there's been a few people saying it wasn't that great, and the whole thing with the LED lights and the seats making it look like it was empty. And
I mean, it definitely, it really did. It really did. I saw that and I was like, this is a weird effect, because it made it look like there were no people there, because the lights blocked out the people. Literally, if I go like this now, you'll not see me. So, that's. I think that I read that they have learned that. Oh, we need to not do that again.
Yeah, let's not do that again. Definitely.
But wasn't this the stadium that they threw up that wasn't built a month earlier?
Oh, I don't know.
Really something like this, that they were like still a few weeks out, still making it for this event. But no, I enjoyed the Royal Rumble pay-per-view overall. The ending of the women's Royal Rumble was really good. Like the back and forth with three of them on the apron. So many little things could have gone wrong there, but they nailed it.
I will say to that point that there were two things about it I noticed. One I will quote J.R. Leggett from the Low Blows Wrestling Parties network on his thing where they did a copy of his podcast, where he says of the three women that were at the end, apparently someone turned to him at the party thing they were doing in Dublin and said, "Do you think WWE have a type?" Because it was three blonde women all at the end with Liv and Soul and Tiffany. So yeah, it was a bit of a thing there. But there was one thing. I think I read something. I don't know if it's true or not. Obviously, this is another allegedly moment where Soul Ruka apparently questioned the booker about the idea of her going for her finish on the outside. Because that thing, she jumped up onto the apron to do the Soul Snatcher, and that would have eliminated her had she hit it. And it's kind of like, well, that was the only bit on that bit I was like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you go for that move? On the outside, where you would have eliminated both yourself and Tiffany, and the result would have been exactly the same. You're absolutely right. It was a good ending, and I think the women's Rumble was the better of the two Rumbles. On that particular night, there was some good moments, and as much as
go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
As much as it wasn't like the surprise I wanted to see, the fact that Brie Bella was the only surprise made that that pop much bigger than probably.
That was actually an insane pop. That was a great. She must have been like so elated coming back from that.
100%, yeah, definitely. And unfortunately it was the Bella spot that was the one sticky moment where I think it was Nikki had, or one of them had Lyra Valkyria in this sort of hesitant position for absolutely ages, waiting for Bailey and the other Bella to get in the same position and to eliminate the two of them. It was like, oh, come on, you're better than this.
Okay, so I think it, like, at the time, like, as we were watching it, we questioned about whether Charlotte intentionally, or was it an accident that Bliss went out?
It was an accident, yeah.
Like it seems like her face genuinely looked like, oh no, which works for their dynamic, you know.
It probably was a spot they had planned later on.
Yeah.
But it just happened at this moment that it was an accidental fall off, and I don't know. I don't remember what the exact moving of every bit of that moment. It might have, maybe Nia accidentally knocked her off as well, or something. Or it had something to do with her. So,
I like that they were 1 and 2, which I predicted, but then it went to hell after that prediction. But I also like that they went with the idea of, I like that it wasn't just like axe and smash when they just ended up. It's like, why wouldn't you work together? And but I like that they decided not to fight, but they also tested each other. That was a nice opening for that match.
It made sense, absolutely.
I know lots of people have spoke about the men's rumble, saying about, the surprise, there was no space for Finn Balor, but there was Mr. Iguana and La Parker and Psycho Clown or whoever it was. And I'm like, but like Undertaker is like the one that runs AAA, right? Or is he's like the Shawn Michaels of that thing? It's like, well, yeah, they're another brand. Why wouldn't they have some representation? So that makes sense.
The silence for La Parker's entrance was actually quite awe-inspiring. I was awestruck by it. I was like, first of all, like La Parker? Okay.
Okay, so what iteration of La Parker is this now?
Oh, I don't. So, hang on. So, right. So the original.
There was one that passed away, right?
I don't know.
No, one literally.
The original La Parker
had an accident in the ring and died. Do you remember?
I wasn't La Parker.
Yes, who was it then?
That was Silver King.
No. It
wasn't La Parker, I'm telling you.
It was.
The one that happened over here in the UK.
No. I don't think so.
Silver King died in the ring over here. He had a heart attack.
Silver King.
Silver King, yeah.
Did he die?
He died over here in a match in an event in 2000.
Shit, Dave! I've literally just learned that Silver King died. What, from WCW days?
Yeah, it was had a heart attack after a match or something, or during at the end of the match.
Oh, that's awful! I didn't know that he'd even died.
But no, I don't think that. But anyway, so the original La Parker in WCW now has been, like, for the last number of years, wrestled as LA Park, because AAA owned the La Parker name. And so they have now bestowed that upon, I think, 1, maybe 2 more people since then.
Yeah, La Parker did die.
Which one?
I just need to be careful showing this because it's unfortunately well, what happened is he did. It's unfortunate you would say he did a suicide dive, I believe, and he hit the like the railing where the audience are. And it really damaged him. So let me just click on this. If this is the one, yeah. So this is the one. So this is this version of La Parker, which he wasn't the WCW one either.
Right.
I know that because you're right. There was LA Park and there was a La Parker, but there's been a load of them. And
Parker too. Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know so I hear that.
Oh no, but that's very sad. So yeah, Dave out the ring, missed his opponent. Oh, it's against Roosh as well. Oh god, that's terrible. Right, but I don't think the fans out there knew who La Parker was in theory, So, and it was the other unfortunate thing, bringing in Powerhouse Hobbs to that. Has Powerhouse Hobbs been on?
I forgot about him. Oh my god, I completely forgot.
Has he been on Raw or SmackDown since this?
Not since, no. That's why I forgot.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
there was a slight controversy about him actually to do with his age. Did you see about this?
to his age. No.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get a handle on what the controversy was, because I was like, I really hope they haven't like fired him, like, because otherwise he'd have to try and go crawling back to AEW. But apparently there was a thing about on his Wikipedia page. It says that he was like born in 1991 or something, which would make him 35.
Yeah,
but apparently he's 41 or something. And then it's come to light being that he's older and he lied about his age or something. Oh, that's interesting. Does it? I don't even think if does it. Okay, let's just bring this up here. Does it even say his age now?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily shocked that he.
Yeah, look at that. They've removed his age because I guess it's a little bit of unconfirmed.
So I wasn't necessarily shocked that he turned up, because obviously the rumors were that he was coming on. I was shocked when the screen immediately said "Powerhouse Hobbs." I was like, huh?
Oh, no, I was pleased about that. And then they went and what do you think of this new trend of like Cena came out and it was dark, and then all of a sudden the color came back on and it's like, oh, and then Matt Cardona came, or Zack Ryder came out, and then it was like, oh, he's just like had a change. And then they did it a third time in like 2 months.
I don't necessarily mind it as such, because obviously the previous times they were both like owned by names that they were owned by. But this is like the first time I think I've ever seen WWE acknowledge an AEW wrestler's identity. It didn't specifically say he was from AEW, but Powerhouse Hobbs is a name associated with AEW.
So yeah, I mean they use like, I guess it's a little bit similar to like when Cody came back to WWE with his AEW theme. Although there was just his indie theme, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
But you are right. Because who else? Like we've got Lexis King. Who else? Ricky Saints.
Yeah, but none of them came in.
Cargill kept her name.
Ricky Saints came in. He didn't have a name for the first week he turned up. He just turned up, didn't say what his name was. Everyone said, "Everyone, you all know who I am," or whatever it was, all that sort of thing. You know, it's a bit like Scott Hall when he turned up to WCW. You guys know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
So obviously didn't know what he was going to call himself. So they didn't know what his name was going to be for ages, Ricky Saints. So but I think obviously they did it in the old NXT days, didn't they? When they referenced, Kenta was now going to be Hideo Itami, or Prince Devitt was now Finn Balor, and showing the names beforehand and then changing them as well. Asuka, before when she turned up, she was what her previous name was it Kana or something like that? I can't remember. But, she was introduced as her old name, but then said, from now on I will be Asuka at that point.
Okay,
so I've done that for a long time then.
Okay, something I was just going to say here, because I've just spotted this. I'd seen it earlier. I'm glad that I've actually seen it. So apparently Jeff Hardy has retired the Swanton, and he's now, and Jazz is back in WWE, by the way.
Yeah,
so, as a coach, right? But I'll put this on a second. We'll see what problems it causes. But apparently this is Jeff Hardy's new finisher, and it's called the Spinal Destination. It looks pretty good.
I like that as a name. Spinal Destination is a good name.
Spinal Destination is really good. The only thing I don't like about it is because that position, it looks like he's about to hit his sister Abigail, actually. That low stance. But I don't know, just in terms of the storytelling, you can definitely see the opponent's face, which is good. I can't tell who that is at all.
But what's he actually trying to... I don't... See, submission moves, you've got to sort of like have an idea of what they're working on or what they're sort of doing. I can't...
Well, I guess his back, right? Spinal. And he's like got his wrist under his neck, so he's just like twisting his neck and his back across.
I don't know. It just looks like a really awkward salsa move.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, that's ruined that one.
Hold on. Did I fall over?
Oh, yeah. You just need to put like a rose in Jeff Hardy's mouth.
Fandango's music underneath it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
No,
I think it looks good, but I don't think it. I think it's a kind of. I think Hardy's in a weird position because you can see whoever he's got there, he's got his arm around Hardy's neck. So I just feel like if it's all going to be quite down like this, Hardy needs to be able to pull up just so that you can sort of see like tap or quit or whatever.
I think that's Bear Bronson who's got that in there, who's like the new member of the system. So like the newest guy on there. So why the hell is he putting that on the biggest member of that new team? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if it actually lasts, but
Anyway.
I know, maybe it does. John Laurinaitis, what? Appearance announced. Where's he back?
Wrestling, Jesus.
Yeah, okay. So Dave, we can begin to wrap this up here. I can't see any amazing breaking news, but anything else that we've not covered that you can.
What's this one say here? Hold on, there's another big tease made for WrestleMania 42. What does this say? During a recent appearance for Yahoo Sports Daily, popular YouTuber and streamer iShowSpeed reflected on his cameo a few years ago and teased the possibility of an in-ring return at WrestleMania 42. Right, so that's just a nothing story. Apart from that, no, nothing major. I think Moose has been pulled from an appearance for French company APC. I think some people have been saying about his some sort of dodgy stuff in his past. They're not comfortable with him being there, so he's cancelled his appearance there. Something like that. Private Party returned finally after a year on Dynamite this week.
Wow.
All the sort of rumors, the rumor mill started up again about whether they were going to stay with AEW or go. WWE's apparently they've been on their radar for a long time.
So is this the sign that they have re-signed with AEW? Saying?
Well, they haven't said they've re-signed, but they just suddenly returned. It was like they hadn't wrestled since they lost the tag titles in like January last year, and they appeared as like a mystery wildcard team in a triple threat number one contender against the Rascals and the Young Bucks. Private Party, Rascals, Young Bucks, for surprisingly a really fun match. And it was so nice to see them sort of return and back. But obviously, how long for we don't know. But that seems to show that they maybe have, like I say, maybe they have re-signed, maybe they have sort of decided on that. But it's interesting that the rumors just sort of started like taking hold again, and sort of like we're sort of showing up again quite recently, saying, so it's possible AEW may have sent feelers out there to various press saying, there's rumors that they're going to go to WWE, so they made their surprise return that much more of a surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in a sense, I hope they stay in AEW, but I hope they get used better in AEW because they're like one of the OG teams there. And what's interesting with you've had the same with TNA 20 years ago now, whereas there are some people that are like the real, like the representation of the heart of this company sort of thing. And AEW still has quite a lot of theirs because they're a young enough company. But obviously, as they've got new people along the way, quite a few of the early days, not even just like saying about like old Jericho or someone like this or even Mox or whoever, but like some of the like MJF is kind of one of the faces of AEW success, of like homegrown-ish, like on a big stage kind of thing. In terms of tag teams, obviously the Young Bucks, but other than that, for their tag team division, Private Party. I mean, FTR came in early enough, but they're not AEW originals. So, hopefully they'll get used if they've re-signed them.
Yeah. I always felt a bit sorry for them because they did it again when they came back. They keep mentioning the fact that obviously in the very early days of Dynamite, they beat the Young Bucks in the tag title tournament to crown the first champions. That was their sort of like thing they hung their hat on for a long time. This team beat the Young Bucks. And over between that time and when they did win the titles from the Bucks sort of end of 23, they always said that was the only thing they really could draw on, was something that happened like 5, 6 years earlier.
Didn't they end up? No, go ahead.
I always felt sorry for him because that's always been their sort of like go-to thing with them, as if they've been a consistent team for that 5 years, but they hadn't been. So Mark Quinn had like a long layoff from an injury, which saw Isaiah Cassidy, where he teamed up with the Hardys for a while and was part of Matt Hardy's stable for.
That's what I was going to say. Wasn't what they lumped in with the House Hardy or whatever it was called?
Yeah, like I say, they were, but I'll say that it's like Mark Quinn was out for quite a few different periods, for long periods of time with injuries, and I think Isaiah Cassidy was at one point as well. So it's always seemed that when it was good enough to come back, either he'd get injured again or Isaiah would get injured, and they'd have to swap around again and all that sort of stuff. So it wasn't like that much consistent time at Private Party were actually on TV for that consistent time. So and know when they did win the titles, it was quite a surprise. But no, it was a nice surprise. But I think that lack of consistency over that time, being an actual team, hurt them a little bit in terms of like, people finding them a credible team to have beaten the Bucks. But hopefully, yeah, as I say, it's only 1 week. Hopefully, they'll build on this and they can get a good bit of momentum going. They look good in the triple threat, and it was so onwards and upwards. Hopefully,
awesome. Right, let's wrap things here. Dave, where can the people find you?
You can find me on at David Jervis Green, pretty much on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. And hey, guess what? One of my one of my Blue Sky tweets.
What are they called? What are Blue Skies called?
I don't know. One of my Blue Sky, my Blue Sky thinkings. There you go, I'll call that. One of my Blue Sky thinkings got retweeted by Matthew Botchamania, which is a clip from the Battle Royal that I put in the group chat of Lord Alfred Hayes making a very unfortunate, crude super entendre while describing King Kong Monday attacking someone from behind. But if you find my Blue Sky at David Jervis Green on there, you can see what I mean. Yeah.
Amazing. Do you know what? I haven't seen Botchamania in ages. I need to just look it up.
Well, he just retweeted he retweeted it. But he shared my one for Matthew. And he immediately shared it on Blue Sky. I got loads of likes and retweets. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, my name is David Pstansky. You find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for Slam Jam at Slam Jam Wrestling. I need to check what all of the handles are because sometimes there is an unfortunate little bit of variation. But that's on everything, including the Blue Sky. Although I need to set up posts to go out on there, so I will do. Right, so with that, until next time, smash that subscribe button. Always stay extremed and keep slamming and jamming. Yes, Slam Jam Bronies. And we're off the air.
Yeah.
Awesome day.